Alright, here it is. The Bay Area 2020 Regionals. This is my Voyager Cup team with Mew as my Gen 1 pick, and it's running Shadow Claw, Dragon Claw, and Wild Charge. So, with the Shadow Claw damage, it beats a lot of the Psychics. The Charge moves makes it pretty much an anti-flyer, and then the Wild Charge also threatens Azumarill, and it can even beat Registeel. My Gen 2 wildcard pick is Meganium as a bulky grass type with Earthquake that also beat Steel types. And then Azumarill has the pretty standard set nowadays of Hydro Pump and Ice Beam. Altaria is my Gen 3 pick as a flyer that's also a great generalist. Toxicroak's my Gen 4 pick as an anti-tank that can also threaten Azumarill and grass types with Sludge Bomb. And then Melmetal is my anti-flyer with Thunderbolt instead of the usual superpower, so it can also threaten Azumarill. It does pretty well against grass types. So basically, like I said in my last video, the plan was to have a lot of options against opposing Azumarills and things that can protect my Azumarill against grass types. Really tough call leaving out Alolan Marowak. That's become one of my favorites, but I wanted to have the mystery of Mew's move possibilities, and they have a lot of the same weaknesses. Thus, Melmetal became my Gen 5 through 7 pick to balance my team out a little more. So looking at my first opponent, Honorable Blue Jay, I have to worry about the Venusaur and potentially the Probopass, and the Primeape's an interesting flex pick. So I'm going to lead with Azumarill because he's probably not going to lead with Venusaur, and then I'll have Altaria and Toxicroak in the back, and it's going to be Primeape in the start. So I'm pretty good at this scenario. I'm going to resist all of his charge moves, and then he makes a switch to Azumarill, so I go with the Hydro Pump to get some damage in, and then I want it to use some of its energy before coming with Toxicroak as my best Azumarill counter now. Especially as it has lower health, I can just go for a Sludge Bomb and see if it's gonna shield. I'll use my first one to protect Toxie since it's so frail. And weirdly, it was a CMP tie, which Toxicroak should never lose against Azumarill, but whatever. And he uses his first shield, and then when I go for another one, he makes a great switch to his Marowak. So this is going to be resisted as a ghost type. And I'm kind of stuck in this matchup, so I go for the Mud Bomb, but again, I don't get CMP even though Toxicroak has a huge attack stat, but it's alright, I can come in with Altaria and then just try and farm down, and I wait too long to go for the Sky Attack before he goes for the charge move, but it was just a Bone Club, so all good there. And then I decided to try and undercharge it to maybe farm down a little more. Didn't work, but it's alright. It comes back with the Primeape instead of Azumarill, kind of surprisingly. I guess I didn't want to match it up with my Azumarill. And I'm not going to shield Ice Night Slash, it's not going to KO me. I'll save the shield for a potential Ice Beam. The Azumarill comes back in, I go straight for the Sky Attack and then bail out of there. So I avoid an opposing Ice Beam, and I actually drew the last shield there, so I can go for the Hydro Pump that potentially knock it out. If not, it'll be a bubble away, and then I can just get to another Ice Beam or just bubble down this Primeape. And the charge move's not going to matter really, but not going to take a chance. I'll just use the last shield there and then finish it off and take match one. And then I'm going to switch to an Altaria lead in case he switches to Venusaur to counter my Azumarill, and then it could also beat Primeape if he sticks with that, but it's going to be a mirror match here. And I did bring Melmetal, but with the mirror match as a lead, it's kind of useless in the back. But I'm going to overcharge here, wait for him to make a move, and then I can potentially get a back-to-back or beat him to the next charge move, and he went Dragon Pulse, so I'm definitely going to beat him to the next charge move. I'll draw the first shield there, and then get the Sky attacked, see if he wants to commit both shields. If not, I win the lead, and then he comes in with the Marowak, and I'm going to almost get to a Sky attack there, but I get some damage in, but he has a ton of energy, and now that's where I make the mistake of falling for his Bone Club bait. And then when the Venusaur comes in, I switch out, but I'm at a shield disadvantage here. So Melmetal can beat Venusaur since I resist all its moves, but with the shield disadvantage, I'm in bad shape. I should have either went for the Ice Beam with the Azumarill or just let the Bone Club go through. Instead, I'm going to lose out here because this Rock Slide is not going to be enough against the Venusaur as neutral damage. And then he got some extra energy there, farming me down. So I'm not going to get to this Ice Beam in time. I'll have to take a Frenzy Plant, and then the Ice Beam will go through, keep losing these CMPs, and it's pretty much GG since I'm so low on health. I can't finish off the Marowak, so gonna have to go match 3. I stick with the same team, but switch to Melmetal in the lead in case he sticks with Altaria, or switches to a Azumarill to counter my Altaria. But he actually switches to Probopass to counter my Altaria. But this is actually okay because I didn't show Thunderbolt last time, so he probably thinks I have Superpower. And I'm gonna let this attack go through. It's actually Rock Slide bait. And then he switches out, anticipating a superpower, so I'm able to go for a Rock Slide to draw a shield advantage and have switch advantage with Altaria against Marowak. And then I end up getting hit with a Shadow Ball there because I didn't want to fall for bait again. But I'm going to go for the Sky Attack and almost take it out and then farm it down. And at this point, I didn't want to lose switch advantage, so I do fall for the Bone Club bait again. But able to farm it down, get some energy for another Sky Attack, which does do next to nothing against a Probopass. The one downfall of not having Dragon Pulse, which would be single resisted compared to double resisted there. But it's alright, gonna let Altaria go down now and come in with the Azumarill. And I'm gonna be going for a Hydro Pump, but he switches out first, but still gonna go for the Hydro Pump. And then I wanted to use its energy before I come back in with Melmetal, because I didn't have a lot of health left on it. So Azumarill can take a charge move here, even though Play Rough does do a decent chunk. And then now I'm gonna get to Thunderbolt, which would be close to KOing, but he uses the last shield. So now I'm going to have to use my last shield and then hopefully get to another Thunderbolt before he can switch back out to Probopass. And I do, so this will be almost enough, and then he switches out. So thankfully the timing worked out there because he had energy loaded for another charge move. But now with shields down, I can go straight for Hydro Pump, and then I lose CMP again, but Azumarill is so tanky, can take the Rock Slide and then finish it off and have just a bubble away from taking round one. GG. Next is my friend Sean, who has Galvantula as the main Azu counter, along with Dugong, which also shreds Altaria. So I'm going to bring Melmetal to deal with those two, and still up Altaria to help deal with the Galvantula. Hoping for Dugong lead, since a lot of people lead with that for the debuffs with Icy Wind, but Galvantula is an okay matchup still, because I have the Rock Slides that come in pretty fast, and this will draw his first shield. And so I'm going to match shields here, and it's actually going to be cross poison bait. And in my notes, I had Bug Buzz for Galvantula, so I'm not sure how this matchup goes now with the cross poison bait. Probably could have just taken that discharge first, but since I went both shields, he's going to match me with both shields. And then he's going to beat me to another charge move before I get that Rock Slide off there, another CMP loss. So I'm going to come in with Altaria. We're both shieldless, and I'm going to have to eat this discharge, which is neutral against Altaria. But it does a decent chunk with Galvantula's attack stat, just committing to the farm down all the way. And then here comes the Dugong I was worried about. I do have close to 2 Sky Attacks at least. So I'll chunk away, and then after this I'm going to switch out to avoid getting farmed down, because Ice Shards are about to finish me off anyway. But now I have to take this Icy Wind, and I'm going to be debuffed for whatever's in the back, and it's Registeel. And with the debuff, the Hydro Pumps aren't going to be strong enough here. So this is pretty much GG. Gonna have to take these Flash Cannons, and maybe if the timer runs out, I can sack Altaria and get rid of the debuff, but not going to be quick enough to another Hydro Pump. So gonna have to rethink what I'm going to use for match 2. I feel like he's going to stick with the Galvantula lead since it worked for him so well. So I'm going to go with Altaria in the front and then have Toxicroak and Meganium in the back that can both deal with the Dugong and Registeel. And it is Galvantula. So I'm in good shape here. Wasn't the Dugong I was really worried about. And then I'm going to fall for another cross poison bait here. But it's alright. I'll get to the Sky Attack and we'll be even in shields, or I'll win the lead. And we are even, so now I'm just going to farm down. I'll just take the discharge. I saw how much it does last time. And I'll just go all the way with Dragon Breath and have Sky Attack ready. And he's actually going to come in with the Shadow Flex of Gallade here. So I have to get the Sky Attack off right away to draw his last shield, because the Shadow boosted Confusion takes me out real quick. And so I'm going to come in with Meganium, of course, and get to a Frenzy Plant. I lose CMP here because he has such high attack. And I'm worried about the close combat, so I use my last shield, even though it's only Leaf Blade, but it's okay because the Frenzy Plant will take it out. And then the Registeel comes in, and I'm not going to get to an Earthquake in time, so I just chip away with a Frenzy Plant because I know the Flash Cannon's coming. Actually, one CMP that time. And then I can come in with Toxicroak before he farms me down and just Mud Bomb to finish it off. So, even up 1-1. And I'm going to come back with the Melmetal lead in case he switches to Dugong against my Altaria. And if it's Galvantula, I'll just know not to fall for the Cross Poison bait again. And it is Dugong, so this is perfect for me. Gonna force the switch, and I can come in with Toxicroak right away and line everything up like I want. Gonna block the Flash Cannon just to keep some health on here for whatever's in the back after I take out the Registeel. Go for the Mud Bomb, that'll almost take it down, and now I can just counter it down before it gets to another Flash Cannon. And I'm close to another charge move here, and it's gonna be Gallade though. So I go for the Mud Bomb. Should have probably went Sludge Bomb, but I know he's gonna use a shield against Gallade being so frail. And coming with Altaria, I can switch right back to Melmetal, have the Rock Slide ready, and then not gonna really worry about a charge move here. Dugong doesn't really have a high attack stat, so take that Water Pulse and then go straight for another Rock Slide. Try and draw that last shield or finish it off. Do finish it off, and then the Gallade, I can just get another charge move off. It's so frail, he's gonna have to shield this, and then I'll just come back with Altaria. After this Leaf Blade will finish me off, but it's all good. Still have a shield just in case, but have the Sky Attack ready, so take the round. GG, Sean. Next up is Dr. Love 97, who actually took out the highest ranked player in the tournament, so now I'm in the one spot. And besides the Meganium, I'm a little worried about the Hypno, so I'm going to bring in Mew for the first time and have Altaria lead. It's pretty safe against most of his team. The Skarmory matchup I can win. Can win the one shield, definitely can win the two shield. So just going to see how it plays out here. Going to try and go for a double up possibly. Going to shield the first Sky Attack in case I have to go to a second shield later. And then I'm going to get my Sky Attack off and get his first shield and get the back-to-back here. Not sure if he got an Air Slash in or not in between. And didn't do quite enough there, so I'm going to let this Sky Attack go through and try to farm down, but right before I'm able to finish off, he gets another Sky Attack. So I'm going to commit both shields to win the lead and have a Sky Attack ready for what comes in next. And it's going to be the Wish Cache here. See the ground water type at the top, so go for the Sky Attack right away and then chunk away with Dragon Breaths, but before I can get to another one, he's going to use a Mud Bomb that's just enough to take me out, even though it's double resist as a flyer. Now I come in with a Azumarill, but that leads to the Meganium, and he still has a shield left. So I switch into Mew, and before I can get to a Dragon Claw, he's going to use Frenzy Plant and almost take me out already. His Mew is a bit frail. Now I'll get the last shield here, but not quite able to get to another Dragon Claw. So gonna have to take the loss in this first round and rethink how I want to approach the Meganium, because using Altaria in the lead meant that I didn't have it in the back for Meganium. So gonna switch things around for the next battle. Stick with the same team, but Mew in the lead in case he sticks with the Skarmory. I haven't shown the Wild Charge yet, so even if it's Meganium or Wish Cache, I can bluff with the Dragon Claw. But he did stick with the Skarmory, so I like this matchup. But he actually makes a great switch as I do the Wild Charge. I actually anticipated either the Wild Charge or an Overheat, as why I went with Mew against the Skarmory. But that's alright. I can come in with Azumarill, take these Mud Bombs alright. They'll chip away eventually, but for now I don't need to shield them at all. And then I'm going to overcharge to a Hydro Pump before going for the Ice Beam and see if I can get a shield here. If not, I can just bubble down from there. He doesn't go with the shield, so I'm going to match him, still going 0 shields here. And that way, when he comes in with something else, I'll be in decent shape. I have plenty of energy now, probably close to 100. So I go for the Ice Beam right away against the Meganium and do a good chunk there. And I'm able to get to another Ice Beam because I just had so much energy against the Wish Cache. And that'll draw his first shield, and then I'll go down. And I can come in with Altaria and just farm up. He switches back to the Skarmory with loaded energy. I probably should have shielded this, but it's okay. I can get to the Wild Charge now, and that'll draw his last shield or probably KO. And I do draw the last shield there, so I have 2 shields to none with Altaria against this about 2/3 health Skarmory, and I don't really have to worry about the Meganium in the back, so I'm just going to shield all these Sky Attacks. Go for my own Sky Attack. It's not going to be enough to KO, but it's pretty much GG at this point. I still have this shield for his Sky Attack, and I pretty much can Dragon Breath it down from here. He's going to come in with the Meganium, double just all its moves, probably just trying to get me to waste my energy here, so maybe he can beat me to another Sky Attack in the back, but I'm just going to Dragon Breath it down and have a Sky Attack ready for when Skarmory comes back. And now I'm going to just be thinking about match three. He's stuck with the same team both times. I'm stuck with the same team. It's really just about who's going to choose the right leads. And I switched to Azumarill here in case he goes with the Wishcash lead, knowing that I have the Dragon Claw Wild Charge moveset now. It's a bit of a risk because that moveset is a bit vulnerable to Meganium, so he could potentially lead with that. But as long as he doesn't, I'll be in good shape, making sure Azu's not lined up with the Meganium. But he's stuck with the Shiny Flex still, Skarmory lead again. And as I charge up to a Hydro Pump, he switches out to Hypno, maybe catch me off guard, and probably has Thunder Punch. So I switch out to Mew, and I can get to these Dragon Claws right away and draw his first shield. And now I'm worried about a Shadow Ball, so I'm going to block it, match him in shields. It's only Fire Punch. And I didn't do a good job counting here. I thought this maybe could have been Shadow Ball still, so I block it again, make sure I win the lead. It's only Fire Punch, but this way I Shadow Claw him all the way down. I have a ton of energy, even though I'm down a shield here. And he comes in with the Meganium. So I go for just Dragon Claws back to back. Gonna probably get to a third before he can get to a Frenzy Plant. And there it is. I was pretty much at 100 energy. And now I have it super low. And then before I get to the fourth one, he gets to the Frenzy Plant here. But it's alright. I can come in with Altaria. And as soon as I saw the icons change in the top corner, I counter switch to Azumarill, keep it far away from Meganium, and absorb that Sky Attack. And then I can chunk away with the charge move here or get his last shield. So now Altaria will have a health advantage against Skarmory. And then with the Meganium in the back, pretty much have this match wrapped up. He does have a little bit extra energy against me, but it's pretty much under half health. And so I can get to a Sky Attack and finish it off with Dragon Breaths after that and go on to the next round. Well played, Dr. Love. Sorry to break your heart and for that joke. Next up, for the battles, really well-known trainer, and she has a Ferrothorn that'll give you problems. And because of the Frostlass, I'm a little hesitant to bring Altaria or Toxicroak. So I'm just going to lead Mew because it can beat a lot of her team. And then Meganium can beat the Ferrothorn along with the Azumarill. And Azumarill lead is okay for me. I just need to land the Wild Charge. And that's what's tricky with Mew. They don't know what's coming, so they might shield, they might not. But with the Azumarill, a lot of trainers don't shield because it's so tanky, and that way I can land the Wild Charge first. Then I'll block the Ice Beam, and then shield bait with Dragon Claw now, since she knows the Wild Charge could be coming. And now I'm in great shape. It forces the switch, and I'm just going to go for the Wild Charge, see if I can get a second shield. If not, I do over half health, and now I switch to Azumarill, resist the Powder Snows. The Shadow Ball is going to hurt, but Azumarill is so tanky I can take it. And I thought about farming down, but instead just overcharge a little bit and then go for the Ice Beam to finish it off because Frostlass is so frail. And she comes back with her Azumarill and has the Hydro Pump ready, but I'm not within KO range yet, so I can take it. And then she switches into the Toxicroak, and I go for the Ice Beam to maybe get that last shield or do over half health. And I didn't want to risk getting farmed down, so I switched back to Mew, and I use the shield here for the Mud Bomb, and then can just farm down with Shadow Claw. I'm resisting the counters there. And I should have shield baited here, since it's her last Pokemon. She probably was going to block it, but it's alright. I just go for the Dragon Claw just to get a little bit of damage in. I still have the full health Meganium in the back, so have this one wrapped up. I do go Azumarill first to absorb the charge move, and then finish off with Meganium and go up 1-0. Since I didn't really need Meg, I replaced it with Altaria to better deal with the Ferrothorn. I feel like it's going to be coming now, so that it knows the moveset. I did not expect him to lead, though, so I have to switch right away. And Mew, even though all its moves are resisted, the charge move at least, it still can win against Ferrothorn. Kind of depends on the moveset and the shielding, but I'm in okay shape. I'm going to block that first Power Whip, and then I go for the Wild Charge now because it is a little stronger even though it's resisted, and that gets it pretty low. And now she switches out to Altaria. A little surprising since I do have the Dragon Claws that are going to chunk away here. And I just commit to both shields so I can win the lead. don't love going down two shields nothing, but wanted to try to line things up. Honestly, should have saved that Dragon Claw because I'm going to be coming in with the Zoom Roll anyway, and that way I could have had loaded energy. But as it stands, I'm in okay shape since she had switched a little bit after I did, so she's locked into Altaria for a little bit longer here. Honestly, I could have farmed a bit more, even possibly farmed down, but instead I just go for the Ice Beam, trying to draw that first shield still. And then she has a power up ready to go, and I go for an Ice Beam, and she actually switches to Toxicroak, maybe trying to farm me down. Do finally get that first shield, and then I come back with Mew, and if I had had that extra load of energy, would have been okay here. But instead, I draw the energy with the Mud Bomb there, like I was hoping. That's why I went with Mew first, and then I can take one Sludge Bomb. I didn't want to risk two, so that's why I sacrificed Mew basically, and then just farm all the way down. That way I can possibly have two Sky Attacks here to draw a shield and then finish it off. And then I do beat Ferrothorn to a charge move, luckily, and win the match to take the round. And I'm showing match 3 because it's going to be a long video either way, so I might as well, and it's going to come into play later. I figured she'd stick with the Ferrothorn, so I picked right with Toxicroak, forced the switch, and then I decided to go for the Sludge Bomb first to either draw the first shield or give Mew a huge health lead. And that does allow her to get to an Ice Beam pretty fast here before I can get to a Wild Charge. And I'm going to go for that first because the risk of a Dragon Claw going unshielded is too big to take. I do get the second shield. Then there's some lag here. It does look like it's mutual lag, so we both got some energy and health loss, but I think that helped the switch timer run out a little faster because she was able to time up the switch with Ferrothorn against this Wild Charge. Really unfortunate for me. And then I do my switch once the timer's up and take the Flash Cannon here. And that did a little more than I expected, honestly. So I'm not comfortable trying to farm down and just go for a Sky Attack before another Flash Cannon comes. And because of that, I don't have any loaded energy for when Azumarill comes back. I am able to get to one Sky Attack, but she's probably at an Ice Beam now. Just going to over farm a bit before I can get to another one. She finishes me off. And now I'm going to come back with Mew and almost have a Wild Charge ready. Maybe should have went Toxicroak with a Mud Bomb. And then she makes another great switch real quick, and I'm luckily able to see it, so went for a Dragon Claw instead of Wild Charge there, and able to get to another one and really chunk away at it. But before I can get to a third, she's going to finish me off. And I'm in a tough position with Toxicroak left. I'm going to have to overcharge because I know the Azumarill still has some health in the back. Might have been able to finish off with Mud Bomb there, or probably not counter it down because I'd go down to a Sky Attack. But I'm not quite able to get to another Mud Bomb. Again, great switches by 4 of the battles. The timer might have helped out there, but she was great all 3 battles. Next up in the semifinals, Ramelje Castro is a pretty tricky team for me to deal with. Besides the Ferrothorn, I have to look out for Hypno, even Noctowl against Azumarill. So I like Altaria against them, but obviously you have to be really scared of that Bastiodon. So I'm going to lead with Altaria. So I don't think he'll lead with Bastiodon and then have Meganium and Azumarill in the back that can both deal with Bastiodon. It's going to be Swampert, so it's a pretty good matchup for me. And he switches right away to Hypno, which tells me he has Ice Punch on it. I didn't really bring a counter for Hypno, so I'm going to go for the Sky Attack to wear it down, and then try and catch the Ice Punch with the Azumarill. And that way I'd be resisting it, of course, and I do time it perfectly there. And now I'm just going to go for an Ice Beam, and then here I'll take the charge move. Might be Thunder Punch, and is, so getting a chunk away there. So I go for the Ice Beam to try and finish it off after overcharging a bit, get his first shield. So now I'm possibly going to wear it down, which is Bubbles, and I'll shield up a Thunder Punch here, match him in shields. And then before I can farm all the way down, he switches to Swampert, and I just go straight for the Hydro Pump and catch him a little off guard with only 1 shield left, and then try and finish off with just Vine Whips before Charge Wave comes in, but he didn't have enough time for a Sludge Wave, so I can take that Hydro Cannon all right. And then get a little energy for whatever's in the back, and it's going to be that Bastiodon I was worried about. So I'm going to try and bait out his last shield since it's basically his last Pokemon, but he doesn't fall for it. And then I was just going to try and go for another Frenzy Plant before going down, but he gets the CMP tie on me, so I'm going to use the shield here and then just wear it down with that Frenzy Plant that was coming through. But he makes a great sack swap to Hypno there, because a third shield basically. And now I just go for another Frenzy Plant before going down, and that will draw his last shield. And then actually able to get to one more before he farms me down. And I know he has a ton of loaded energy, so I'm gonna show the Azumarill and then swap to Altaria, because if I just gone to Altaria, he might have just farmed me down all the way and then Stone Edge Azumarill. So this way I can take that Stone Edge and then Azumarill can finish it off with just Bubble. Now I come in with the Mew lead in case he switches the Hypno to counter my Altaria with the Ice Punch and Swampert, which isn't great, but it's okay because he doesn't know my moveset. So I'm going to block the first Hydro Cannon. That would really hurt. And then after overcharging a bit, I go for my Dragon Claw and just try and bait out a shield. And he does match me in shields. And after charging a little bit, I time it up again so Azumarill can absorb this Hydro Cannon and then get a bit of an energy head start with whatever comes in next. It's the Hypno. And I'm going to have to absorb this Thunder Punch because I don't want to use my last shield just yet. And then after overcharging, I go for the Ice Beam, see if I can get his last shield, but he doesn't fall for it. And now I'm able to get to another Ice Beam pretty quick here, and that'll get it pretty low. And I'm thinking maybe I can bubble it down, but I'm just going to let Azumarill go down because confusion damage would probably add up. And now I can just farm away with Mew and these Shadow Claws. So I'll have back-to-back Dragon Claws ready, or depending on what's in the back, I could use a Wild Charge, but still the Swampert. So I'm going to have 2 Dragon Claws, and then possibly a third before his Hydro Cannon. So go back-to-back and really apply that shield pressure. And he does use his last one because he didn't want to waste that loaded energy. And I timed the swap again with Meganium to absorb this Hydro Cannon. And then it's Bastiodon in the back again, and with shields down, I can go straight for the Earthquake here. And it's pretty much GG because I still have a shield and he has the Swampert in the back. And I'll block this Flamethrower and then pretty much farm down all the way with Vine Whip, I think. No, I just go for the Frenzy Plant, finish it off. Don't want to take any chances because then the Vine Whips can finish off the Swampert real quick. He does get one more Hydro Cannon, but Meg is so tanky and I still had Mew. And at this point, I'm feeling pretty good knowing I'll be in the finals. This is probably the best I've ever played with key switches. Even reached rank 10 in GBL that morning to unlock the Steven look. Decided to give Melmetal more practice. In hindsight, I'm not really sure what the purpose was for it, but I'm leading Meganium since he had gone Swampert back-to-back times, and it's going to be the Hypno, which I know has the Ice Punch. So I'm going to go for a Frenzy Plant and then try and time my swap again to absorb an Ice Punch. And in hindsight, again, I'm not really sure why I went Azumarill since I know he has Thunder Punch as well. Melmetal could have absorbed an Ice Punch potentially. Instead, I have to block a Thunder Punch there. And then he's going to get another one back-to-back. He had been overcharging, anticipating the swap probably. And he has Ferrothorn, which is such a tough counter for Azumarill. I almost brought mine for the Voyager Cup, but I went with Meganium instead. And these Ice Beams are just going to be neutral because of that Steel typing, and he's just really farming away on me before using a Power Whip finally. Since I don't know what its other charge move is yet, I'm going to come in with Meganium because Melmetal's attacks will all be resisted by Ferrothorn. And I don't want to go down 2 shields to none, so I'm hoping he has Thunder, but this is going to be a Flash Cannon, so that's going to be pretty much GG here. I finally get his first shield and then swap to Melmetal because now I know I resist all of its moves and it's within range for a rock slide. But he switches to Swampert in the back and it's really no way for me to win now. It's not the biggest deal because I already had this round 1, but again, I'm showing this like the For the Battles third round because the fact that I wasn't able to sweep either of them is going to come back into play in the end. The only other undefeated team is JSet36, so we knew we'd be facing each other. We're talking before the round started. He even asked for a hint about my Mew set. So I was thinking maybe he's going to lead with this Sableye. He has a pretty balanced team. I really don't have to worry about the Venusaur for Azumarill, so I'm bringing Altaria and Toxicroak. I almost led with Azumarill in case he led Sableye, but with Altaria, I figure if he leads Registeel, I can go with the 2 shields, and it is Registeel. And I've done this matchup a million times, especially in Go Battle League. And even if you check pvpoke.com yourself, Altaria, especially the ones with 6 attack like mine, can wear down the Registeel even though Dragon Breath and Sky attacks are both resisted. You can beat it before the 4th Flash Cannon comes. So I blocked the first one. Here's the second one. And he hasn't used the shield yet, so I didn't go with my second shield just yet. Go for the Sky attack, and then he will use his first shield. And now, at this point, the strategy is just to block this third flash cannon and then farm down all the way and have a ton of energy for what comes in next. But I must have missed a Dragon Breath through the lag at some point because I don't finish it off before the fourth flash cannon, and I didn't use that Sky Attack, so I used both shields to only one and lost the lead. And I'm pretty much in bad shape here because he comes in with the Venusaur. I do get to an Ice Beam. Maybe if he didn't have a shield here, if I'd used that Sky Attack, it'd be a different story. But instead, I'm going to come in with Toxicroak, and he'll have a ton of energy, so he'll actually get back-to-back Frenzy Plants before I can get to a charge move. Dying with all that stored energy on Altaria, I don't know what happened in that matchup. It really set me back here. And not even seeing what his third Pokemon was puts me at a disadvantage when picking my lineup for the next one. I'd go with the Mew lead because it can beat Registeel, and then I'll have Altaria in the back for the Venusaur. And he does stick with the Registeel lead. And I'm thinking the fact that I brought Mew to counter Registeel would probably show that I have moves that can beat it. So I'm going to go for the bait, especially since I used my first shield there. I'm going to see if I can get him to match me, and he doesn't fall for it. I really should have just gone for the Wild Charge because going straight Wild Charge does beat the Registeel. And he takes it there. And I don't want to go down 2 shields to none, so I take a Flash Cannon there. And I have to go for a bait at this point because he has 2 shields left, and he probably doesn't want to lose the lead. You saw me check the switch screen there, and after getting a couple more Shadow Claws in, I probably should have switched to try and finish off the Registeel. Instead, I committed both shields again, and then I do finally win the lead. I maybe could have farmed down, but I'd just go for the Dragon Claw to finish it off. And then I'm going to have a little extra energy here, but it's a Zoom Roll, and I'm not going to have time to go for the Wild Charge. I just try and shield bait here before I go down. He doesn't fall for it. Dragon Claw does nothing. It's a Zoom Roll. So now we have the mirror match, but he still has a shield left. And then he actually has Play Rough on his Zoom Roll. So I'm in pretty bad shape again. I try and shield bait with the Ice Beam. There weren't really any win conditions for me. If only I had seen this moveset in the first battle, I could have planned better. Instead, I charge up and get the Hydro Pump just to do as much damage as possible. And then once we get through some lag there, I charge up, and he actually switches to Venusaur. And maybe I should have just switched out right away and tried farm all the way. Instead, I go for the Ice Beam to maybe draw that last shield or at least get it low there. And then I take the Sludge Bomb and farm down. Would need to get back-to-back Sky Attacks with the shield up, but he had a charge move ready. And it's actually going to be Ice Beam. He's running the old school moveset of Play Rough Ice Beam with the Shiny Flex. And he finishes me off here. Well played, J-Set. We do play a third battle, and I go back to my first team just with Toxicroak in the lead since he's led Registeel every time so far. And he probably been running the same team with the Zoom Roll as his third in that first battle. So I probably still would have lost it even if the Altaria had won the lead, but I at least would have had the information of the moveset. And then it does end up being the Registeel again. So he's going to have to switch right away. But I don't really have a counter for the Zoom Roll because of the Play Rough winning the mirror match. So stick with Toxicroak, have a bit of an energy lead. And he blocks my Sludge Bomb. I'm going to have to block his Ice Beam here. It looks like I tried to switch to a Zoom Roll to absorb the Ice Beam, but was caught in a CMP tie. So now I just decided to stay in it. I know the Sludge Bomb's not going to be quite enough to finish it off, so I'll just have to commit both shields and then finish it off with counters and have some energy for whatever's in the back. And if he has been sticking with the same team each time, this will be the Venusaur, which it is. Both my charge moves are going to be neutral because of the poison grass typing, but Sludge Bomb has stab behind it, so I get a good chunk there. Almost have it down all the way, so I'm going to be able to farm it down with Altaria and have some energy for the Registeel. And the Sky Attacks, again, are resisted, but we'll chip away a little bit. And I know I have a Zoom Roll in the back, so hopefully you can get the last shield so I can just Hydro Pump it. And as you can see, those Dragon Breaths do add up. So really don't know what happened in that first battle. If it would have been a little more competitive, could have set me up better for the second one. Instead here, after getting that last shield, I can come in with the Zoom Roll and finish it off and get a little bit of redemption at least. But congrats to J-Set. He picked a great team and finished 6-0, while I ended up in a 5-way tie for second and actually somehow finished near the bottom of the tiebreaker, even though my only loss was to the champ. Buckholz didn't work in my favor with how my opponents finished up, I guess, and not sweeping the 4 battles, and especially Rommel rounds, cost me in total battles 1. As the highest ranked of this group, I could have won the next tiebreaker to guarantee an invite to Continentals. Just a tough break, I guess, even though I was 5-0 and in the finals. But doing this well in regionals did help me get to the elite tier, though, as number 108 globally, and I'm proud of how I did after disappointing last year. Want to give a big shout out to the Poke Gators for organizing this over Discord, especially on our Abra Community Day. Really appreciate it, and thanks for watching.